Crescent Heights Hotel stood as one of the few remaining structures preserving the city's historical charm and former glory. With its nostalgic atmosphere, the hotel was busier than expected that evening. While a few guests checked in at the lobby, a business meeting was in progress in the ballroom. Upstairs, guests had retreated to their rooms, the corridors silent except for the occasional staff movement. At around 10:30 p.m., unnoticed by anyone, a thin trail of smoke began to seep into the corridor on the 8th floor. A housekeeper mopping the hallway spotted a strange liquid on the floor. Leaning closer, their face paled with fear as the acrid scent of burning materials filled the air. A faint flame appeared at the corner of the ceiling, quickly spreading. The housekeeper's scream echoed down the corridor, "Fire!" The building's alarm system was triggered, but it functioned erratically, as years of neglect had taken their toll. The alarms only sounded on a few floors, leaving many unaware of the imminent danger. On the 8th floor, guests were startled as smoke began creeping under their doors. A young couple opened their door, only to be greeted by a thick, suffocating cloud of smoke filling the corridor. They rushed to their window but realized the hotel's height made escape impossible. In the neighboring room, a family tried to reach the fire escape, but the door handle was so hot that touching it was impossible. Downstairs, the lobby began to stir as the faint sound of the alarm reached the ears of the receptionist, Lisa. Upon seeing smoke wafting into the lobby, she immediately dialed 911. "There's a fire at Crescent Heights Hotel. The 8th floor is engulfed in smoke, and there are many people trapped inside. Please send help quickly." Outside, passers-by noticed thick smoke billowing from the upper floors. Emergency services, firefighters, police, and ambulances were dispatched. By 10:50 p.m., the first fire trucks arrived on the scene, their sirens piercing the chaotic night. The first fire crew was met with an overwhelming wall of smoke as they approached the building. Fire Chief Davis quickly assessed the situation and barked orders through his radio. The fire started on the 8th floor and is spreading rapidly to the upper levels. Rescue teams, prepare for immediate action, there are people trapped inside. Firefighters entered the building, navigating the dense smoke with thermal cameras. On the 8th floor, a family had barricaded themselves in their room, using blankets to block the smoke. Firefighters broke down the door and ushered them to safety. Meanwhile, on the 9th floor, attendees of a business meeting had sealed their room to avoid the smoke. However, oxygen levels were dropping rapidly, and people began losing consciousness. Firefighters smashed through the doors and carried out the unconscious individuals. Explosions in the stairwells signaled the fire's increasing intensity and danger to the building's structure. Police worked to establish a perimeter as panicked onlookers gathered outside, horrified by the sight of people hanging from windows, screaming for help. Emergency medical teams tended to the rescued, most suffering from smoke inhalation, while some were injured by falling debris. Inside, firefighters faced mounting challenges. The building's structural integrity was deteriorating rapidly. Chief Davis issued a grim warning over the radio. "The building is at risk of collapse. Move fast, but stay cautious. We're not leaving anyone behind." One firefighter rescued a child trapped on the 9th floor just as part of the ceiling collapsed, leaving the rescuer severely injured. His colleagues carried him out to safety. Despite the growing danger, Davis and his team persisted, aware that more people were still trapped inside. Inside, firefighters faced mounting challenges. The building's structural integrity was deteriorating rapidly. Chief Davis issued a grim warning over the radio. By the time the flames were extinguished at 3 a.m., the Crescent Heights Hotel was a charred skeleton of its former self. Fire crews worked tirelessly through the night, ensuring no hidden embers threatened to reignite the blaze. As the smoke cleared, investigators moved in to uncover the cause of the disaster. Initial inspections revealed that the fire had originated in the basement, specifically in an old storage room. The room, long neglected and poorly maintained, contained a mix of outdated cleaning supplies, combustible materials, and other hazardous items. These acted as accelerants, allowing the fire to spread quickly to the upper floors through elevator shafts and ventilation systems. However, investigators soon realized that this was no accident. A series of security camera recordings captured a man entering the basement just minutes before the fire began. Further examination of the footage identified him as a former employee of the hotel. The man, known to harbor a grudge against the hotel management after being fired years earlier, had been caught on tape carrying what appeared to be a gasoline canister. The revelation sent shockwaves through the city. The man was arrested within 24 hours of the fire, found hiding in a nearby motel. Under interrogation, he confessed to starting the fire as an act of vengeance, claiming that he wanted to destroy the place that had, in his words, ruined his life. His actions, however, had left an indelible scar on the community, claiming innocent lives and reducing a historical landmark to ashes. The aftermath of the Crescent Heights Hotel fire was one of grief and reflection. Of the 150 people present in the building that night, 138 were rescued. Yet, the loss of 12 lives hung heavily over the city. Among the deceased were families who had been unable to escape the upper floors, business professionals attending the 9th floor meeting, and even a firefighter who succumbed to injuries sustained while saving others. Their names were etched into the hearts of the community. Survivors spoke of the bravery of the emergency responders. Many recalled Chief Davis, who led his team into the burning building multiple times, even after structural integrity became a grave concern. One story that resonated deeply was of Davis rescuing a small boy trapped under rubble on the 9th floor. As he carried the child out, a part of the ceiling collapsed, leaving him with severe injuries. Davis was rushed to the hospital, where he underwent hours of surgery. Though his recovery would be long and arduous, his actions that night earned him widespread recognition as a hero. The fire also brought attention to systemic failures. The hotel's outdated fire alarm system, lack of proper safety protocols, and poor maintenance of hazardous areas were scrutinized. City officials vowed to implement stricter regulations to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Crescent Heights Hotel became a cautionary tale of how neglect and unresolved grievances could lead to devastating consequences. In the days following the fire, a memorial service was held at the site. Hundreds of people gathered to pay their respects to the victims and honor the emergency personnel who risked their lives. The city announced plans to erect a permanent memorial, ensuring that the tragedy would never be forgotten. For the survivors, the memory of that fateful night would never fade. Many struggled with trauma, haunted by the sounds of alarms, the sight of flames, and the faces of those they lost. Yet, amidst the sorrow, there was also gratitude for the firefighters, police officers, and medical teams who went above and beyond to save lives. Though Crescent Heights Hotel would never be rebuilt, its story became a powerful reminder of resilience, the fragility of life, and the profound impact of both human error and heroism. In the shadow of the flames, the community found a renewed commitment to safety and unity, determined to prevent such a tragedy from happening again.